We've recently had the exciting opportunity to visit Universal Orlando's newest theme park, Epic Universe.
It was epic.
It was epic. We're here to talk about how Epic Universe is going to affect Central Florida's real estate market. So let's jump right in.
It was a huge undertaking. I think it was like about $7 billion worth of construction. So that's a lot of construction. Wow. It's been over several years, I think 5 to 6 years of actual construction, probably a lot of time before that for planning and all those kind of things. It is right in the middle of the tourist zone, right? It's the north part of the tourist zone where the convention center is, where Universal Studios is. It's on the other side. So there's not a lot of new space around it. It was kind of like the last big spot left to be filled in. So it's going to be interesting to watch over the next couple of years as people start coming and visiting and businesses start to come around and figure out where they can take advantage of all the new tourists and all the new traffic.
Yeah. So with that, we're definitely, obviously that means that there's a lot of commercial nearby. There's not too much residential. What is there, I'm assuming, is already built out.
Yeah. There's not, I don't believe there's any planned zoning residential lots anywhere in the close vicinity. There's Tangelo Park, which is a lower end area, a little bit north of it. And then there's some really nice areas over on the west side of I-4, Dr. Phillips, and then some other places around Universal that are really nice, that are probably going to get impacted positively by values just because, of the jobs that are going to be created.
So positively for sellers, not necessarily positive for buyers and renters. My next question is, are there areas already seeing a spike in their home value and in rent for those people?
I don't think there are a lot of increases right now, but I don't know that has anything to do with Epic Universe directly. I think that's more of the Central Florida market at the moment is slightly stagnant. We're just kind of chilling through, eating into the big increases that we had between 2021 and 22. So we're sitting a little bit stagnant. But if you think that some other areas in Orlando are actually declining a little bit, and that area around there is staying stagnant, that's almost like an increase.
And I do think the reason why you would see an increase, as if Disney were to make another park, which they're not. If Disney was opening another park at the same time as Epic Universe, I think you'd see a lot more home values rising because those are made a lot more towards short-term rentals around those areas versus we're not, because we're not really a short-term rental friendly area in Orange County. Is that correct?
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So Disney is more south. While there is a lot of residential development around Disney, there's still a lot of land that's zoned for residential development near Disney. So there's a lot more opportunity to have more new construction, add more inventory. And at the same time, to your point, it's more short-term rental friendly down there. There's actually a bunch of communities, I think like 12 or 14 communities that are strictly built for short-term rental. You can't live there. And then there's some that it's built for short-term and you can live there. And then of course there's some where you cannot do it. So you got to be careful when you're down in that area. Disney is definitely the area where the short-term boom could happen if they open up another park.
So my next question is investing in short-term rentals around Epic Universe a good idea? That kind of answered it. It's hard to do, but it would be a great idea if you could.
It would be a great idea if you could. Orange County is very, very restrictive on short-term rental. Inside the city of Orlando, you can do short-term rental. You have to have a permit. You have to live on site. So it's not where you can buy a whole house and rent out a whole house. It's where you can live in a house and have something, either part of the house or an external building that you rent out.
Got it. So are there any neighborhoods that are close to the park that you would recommend if somebody was searching for buying, saying they're very excited for the new Ministry of Magic attraction? They just got to live nearby.
Sure. So in very close proximity, I would look at like the Dr. Phillips area for sure. Metro West, maybe, that's not too far away. Or I would look maybe on the other side and go out towards the UCF area, like towards Bithlow and those kind of places. Directly in and around there, there's just really not a lot of great residential communities.
So how can a buyer know if they're getting in prior to values jumping?
Well, that's assuming values are going to jump, which I think they will over time, right? Really, I'd monitor the market right now. As I said, we're feeling more of a stagnant market. I think with all the changes in the economy, there's a lot of unease where people are maybe not making big decisions. I felt like they were in the first part of the year, but now currently, I think people are starting to put things off a little bit. Hopefully, we get through this uneasiness and move back to where people are making big decisions, because buying a house, whether it's for living in it or for investing, is a big decision.
The biggest that some people make in their whole life?
Usually it is.
So big decisions. What are some potential downsides to living near a theme park like Epic Universe, like Universal, like Disney? What are those downsides?
Traffic is just absolute. I mean, it's not good. There's no good time to go through that area. It's a little bit of a stress test, if you will. It's your first frustration on your way when you're going to the park. So I think the changes that they made, they were designed to alleviate some of the traffic nightmares, and hopefully they do. And certainly the express lanes have really changed a lot.
Entirely.
Those are going to be extended all the way through past Disney now. So that's all under construction. I think they're going down to about 27. I think that's going to really open it up quite a bit and keep the traffic at least at current levels. But again, you might be 3 to 5 years before any of that's complete, right? So, and of course, we're constantly adding new people to Orlando. Even with the people that are leaving, we still net gain population every single month.
So what kind of commercial development is expected to follow Epic Universe? Are we looking at development or are we looking at redevelopment?
I think what you're going to see, if you go down through there, you'll see a lot of hotels that are old hotels. Many of them are even shut down. And those are ripe for redevelopment, right? Because they already have infrastructure as far as city sewer, city water, and enough power. So they can easily be raised and then have something newer and nicer built, on site. All of that's going to obviously follow demand. So I think a lot of people are developers are in a wait and see to see how Epic Universe really impacts. They built several hotels on site, and they have built other hotels on the former Wet and Wild site recently, right? So Lowe's Hotel Group, which is partnered with Universal, has really expanded quite a bit and added a lot of capacity. So it's hard to say how much is going to be needed, and I think that's what those developers are waiting for.
I know we spoke on it a little bit, but let's go a little bit more in depth. Will traffic and infrastructure changes affect daily life for locals? So your groceries, that kind of stuff. We're not always going to the theme parks. I know that it seems like we're always either wrestling alligators or going to the theme parks living in Florida. But
those are the two choices.
That's my favorite hobbies. But we do go to the grocery store and we do go to work. So how do you think that's going to get affected?
Yeah, again, because most of the residential zones are kind of away from this, I'm not sure how much it's going to impact your day-to-day. I think depending on what you do, like myself, I drive for a living. I drive a lot, right? So if I'm on the road heading that way in the middle of the day, I might run into more traffic than I used to. I have to plan a little bit better. But I think if you're in a neighborhood, your grocery store is usually within a mile or two of you. You're probably not going to get as impacted by the added traffic, I don't think.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's great news. Before we keep going, if you're enjoying this content, please make sure to leave a like below, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We drop videos every single Sunday. We do it for you. We give you free information so that you can be more informed, whether you're selling, buying, or investing here in Central Florida, or really around the country. A lot of our stuff is multi-purposed, unless we're talking about Epic Universe, and then you have to come to Central Florida. So speaking of Central Florida, could this be Orlando's next Boomtown area, do you think?
I think from a commercial perspective, it absolutely could be. That area, the international, the iDrive area, has always been high value real estate. And literally just a few feet away was some unused land, right? And that's now Epic Universe, right? So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of, again, over the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a lot of redevelopment, a lot of infill where there are those small lots that are available. You're going to see something go in there. You're going to see a lot of commerce grow up around there. I mean, again, when people come into town, they don't just go to the parks. They spend time at restaurants away from the parks. They spend time at other hotels. They go and visit the beaches, right? So you're going to see a lot of that. That's going to really bring more people in.
We're always saying that Orlando is always growing out. And I think that this is a great example of how this is just going to make that heartbeat stronger to make it grow out towards the coast, towards Disney, towards the northern areas. So our last question that we have, I know that you invest. You have an Airbnb, you have other rentals, long-term rentals. So if someone wants to buy now and then sell later, what is the strategy here with Epic Universe?
I'm not sure how much, if you're talking about residential, I'm not sure how much Epic Universe is going to impact your strategy. I think the overall strategy is the same, right? Find something where it'll cash flow enough that it's satisfactory and look forward to appreciation over a long period of time. I know we had a couple of years where it was nutty and we were getting 20, 25% appreciation, but that's not normal. 3 to 5% is normal. And 3 to 5% is not a lot in 1 year, but it compounds quickly over 2, 3, 5, 10 years. So you buy something for maybe $300,000 today, and you compound it at 3% over 10 years, and next thing you know, it's $450. Well, if it's $450, now you made some decent money. You've amortized and paid down some of that debt if you put any on it. And meanwhile, you cash flowed it, which means none of that was your money. That was all other people's money. And that's my favorite kind of money to invest, other people's.
Well, we hope that this information has been helpful for you. We hope that it's been epic and universally helpful, if you will. I've been Gabriel Burgos.
And I am always Tom McNamara.
And this has been the Florida Real Estate Insider Podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.